Welcome back. This book, God Awful Rebel, is the third and final book in the God Awful trilogy written by Silvia Acevedo.
That's right. Of course, Silvia used to be a reporter here on Channel 4. In addition to her books, she still writes for newspapers and magazines, and she loves mythology. Good to see you.
Thanks. Good to see you.
Congrats. This is a big deal to finish a trilogy. I remember when you were here with your first one.
Yes, yes. You guys were kind enough to have me here for the first book and the second book, and so here I am now for the third book.
Love it. So when you kind of finish this out, does this feel done to you? Does this feel good to kind of be like, release the three?
Yes, yes, it absolutely. The story is complete. The story is, the God Awful series is a story of a not so likable Cupid who loses his place in Olympus and has to fight his way back and into our hearts. And so he did that. He did that in the series. And so the third book is coming out actually April 1st, and that's my launch day. And so I'm very excited. No, no joke. No joke. April 1st, for real.
Okay, good. That's exciting. So, okay, so people can get their hands on. Do they have to have read the first two to enjoy God Awful Rebel?
No, they don't have to, but I think there are references obviously throughout. So it would be a good idea to read the first book and in order, but no, you don't have to.
Yeah, right.
You don't have to, no.
Now, did you write the whole series knowing the story is going to lay out over 3 books?
Yes.
Or did you like write the first book and say, okay, here's going to be the next
more.
book? Yeah.
No.
Or I'm going to do another one.
I planned for 3.
Okay.
And what's interesting, though, is when you write a trilogy, at least for me, my first story was a lot more loosey-goosey. And then the second one, I had to do a lot more planning to make sure that I got, that I was following the threads. And then the third one was outlined so meticulously because I had to make sure that all of the character arcs were completed, all of the subplots were taken care of. But I'm really happy with how it turned out because there's just a very happy ending. It's satisfying, and Cupid has a very large transformation, actually. Like I said, he was not so likable at first, and at the end, he's not only likable, but he's lovable, and he's a god worth talking about.
Oh, that's cool. What got you so into mythology? I remember you kind of talking about it. I loved mythology growing up. It was one of my favorite things in school, but it's one of those things I've kind of let go, and I haven't revisited.
Right.
Same reason for you. I just loved mythology as a teenager, and when I decided to write some fiction in my off time from journalism one day, I decided to do that. And mythology came back to me, and so I just decided to just dabble in it, and I loved it. And the characters are all a little bit neurotic. They're all very focused on their particular domain, and sometimes they actually have conflicting domains. So I had to sometimes pick and choose which domain I was going to focus a certain god on, and so that was fun because I got to, while I was honoring the tradition of mythology, I got to make up a lot of their powers.
Did it all come from here, or did you have to do a lot of research and fact checking?
There was a lot of research and fact checking just to honor honor the gods who they were. I wasn't going to make the god of war all of a sudden make him god of flowers or something. It wasn't going to work out that way. But at the same time, a lot of the individual powers I gave him, or some of his backstory, I did take liberties, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. What did you have a favorite scene, or was there something as you're writing you're just like, this is my favorite moment in the book that I want everybody to get to?
Yes.
I'm so excited about
this. Yes, and I'm sorry to say this, folks, but it's the very last chapter of the very last book. So
that's a good way to go, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
so if we're talking about God Awful Rebel, so my favorite scene in this book was the last chapter because that wraps up everybody's stories.
Okay.
And so Cupid gets a happily ever after, and all of the characters around him that we've been following throughout. So I can't spoil it, though. I can't tell you what it's about. But another favorite scene of mine was actually the Gorgon battle, which yes, there are Gorgons in the third story, so I'm excited about that.
Very cool.
Did you go back and like rewrite and like, okay, I'm going to change this and change that, or was it always just like real clear for you?
No, you go through you go back a lot while you're writing it. Certainly not once it's done. You've got to move on from there. So yeah, I had many drafts for each book, What
have you heard from readers? Because I know your son's a fan, which is always like a big deal as well. But what have you heard from people who've read it and what they say about the storyline?
I've actually heard from a lot of adults. A lot of
Yeah.
adults read mythology and young adult literature. And
Right.
so I've heard from a lot of adults that they like the fact that Cupid himself is an adult, but he's so juvenile that he gets into trouble. And then the teenagers have said that they like that he's an adult because it gives him more access to the adult world, so he can actually get into more hijinks. So
I see.
What's
okay.
next for you?
Yeah.
next for me, well, I will be doing a lot of talks at conferences and presentations and such, promoting the finished series.
Yeah.
And I'll be doing that the rest of this year, but my next projects are picture books, so I'm going to be aiming a little bit younger soon.
Cute. Well, congratulations. This is
Congratulations.
really cool. I know people can get the God Awful Rebel. Again, it goes on sale Monday, April 1st, but at 7 o'clock, you're going to be at a book launch at Boswell Book Company on Downer. You can visit Silvia's website. It's silviaacevedo.com for more. And then also, she was kind enough to bring us some giveaways of the series. Callers number 7, 8, and 9 will win all 3 in the trilogy. Call us right now at 414-799-4444 to win those. Congrats and thank you.
Thanks.
Good to see you.